Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out recently.
Don't forget me!
Thank you, Rex. Now place your hand on my chest.
Yeah, it's not perfect. The original Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii is pretty good though, and I want to talk about its story for a little bit, because we have this absolutely fascinating situation of a twist that feels earned and is very emotionally satisfying, but also causes some problems for the game's overall structure. One of the game's biggest narrative strengths also winds up being a serious weakness. But if it wasn't already obvious, talking about this will require going into major spoilers. You'll be doing yourself a real disservice by watching this if you haven't experienced the game for yourself, and you probably won't follow much of it anyway. If you aren't willing to pay ridiculous prices for a used Wii copy or buy new hardware that you don't want just for this game, then I recommend Chugga Conroy's playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles. It's probably the most comprehensive playthrough of the game you'll find on YouTube, and it's where I'm pulling all of the footage from for this video. But seriously though, I'm about to spoil a huge part of this game, so if you don't want to know, leave right now. Now. Last warning. I'm not kidding. So the game is brilliant in how it subverts your expectations. Fiora is alive and rejoins your party at around the same time that you kill Metalface, who you thought would be the primary antagonist. In theory, it's pretty good writing, and it helps to make the upcoming battles seem much larger in scope, but also significantly less personal. Here's the issue. The game opens and we are immediately presented with a personal quest. Girlfriend slash sister slash best friend dies, the killer also kills a bunch of other people, you set out on a quest for revenge. Done and done. Later, you discover that your girlfriend is actually alive, but under mind control or something similar. Efforts and interest are redoubled as the objective shifts from revenge to a rescue mission. I love all of this stuff because, like I just said, the game is fantastic at subverting your expectations. It goes out of its way to make you think Fiora is a main cast member and then just kills her a few hours into the game. This isn't exactly unprecedented for the Xeno games, but this one pulled it off even more convincingly than its forebearers. You so thoroughly believe that she was really dead because the game goes out of its way to make the story all about her death. There aren't any crass teases of, oh, maybe she's still alive, maybe Shulk will reunite with her somehow. No, the game just builds its entire plot around this mission of revenge, and it even goes out of its way to introduce a totally new love interest for Shulk in the form of Melia. They have a relationship that develops and expands, and it has its own set of obvious but interesting roadblocks. It's compelling enough that you can believe it's here to stay for the rest of the game. But no, bam, Fiora is alive, Shulk is now bent on rescuing her, and Melia is doomed to be forever alone. I think it's fair to say that this is a big part of why I enjoy the story so much. Shulk's quest for revenge is compelling enough to carry you along until the even more compelling rescue mission starts up, and all the while these characters actually seem like real people with real problems that don't have easy solutions. They aren't all going to be happy. Honestly, all of this interpersonal drama and sexual tension and frenzied screams of Fiora! That is what I'm here for! This game feels human in a way that so many JRPGs just fail to grasp, and I think that's why it connected with so many people so deeply. It's after you get Fiora back that we hit a snag. The events of Sword Valley are fantastic, and killing Metalface and reuniting with Fiora makes for this incredibly emotional climax. The gang wandering around on the beach afterwards and trying to find each other again really could have been the game's falling action, with everyone sorting through their personal baggage in this beautiful beach locale before we roll credits. So you're sitting there, emotionally exhausted, but satisfied after what could very well have been the finale, only for someone to tell you, no, silly, you've still got half the game to go. The stakes may escalate here, but the audience's interest does not. The story kind of pivots here and focuses on a villain wants to destroy the world direction. Quite frankly, as a video game player, I save a world a week. Also, immediately after they strip us of our primary motivation, they send us through one of the longest, most visually uninteresting areas in the entire game. Look man, Mechonis Field has awesome music, but that doesn't save it. It's too long, everything looks exactly the same, and nothing interesting happens on the way up besides knowing that we're gonna fight Charlotte's boyfriend at the end. The game has set such an incredible standard for emotional investment and personal stakes that starting this sequence feels like a really steep drop-off in storytelling quality. The audience member, at least subconsciously, is now saying to themselves, all of my emotional needs have been satisfied, I've gotten everything that I could have wanted out of this game, and what, you want me to keep going? Why? So here's the lesson. If you want to do a plot like this, where you subvert the audience's expectations or suddenly shift the motivation or driving force of the plot, you better be sure that the thing that follows up that shift is up to snuff. Just throwing something cool or even exciting at the audience may not be enough if you've just divested them of their primary emotional entanglements. What's the solution? I don't know. Ultimately, this doesn't wind up being that big of an issue for Xenoblade. Everything works out okay for this game in the end. It brings it back around and finishes strong, but man, for a lengthy stretch of time, this game feels like it lost some of its mojo. I've talked to some people who have actually quit the game around Mechonis Field, which feels weird because it's so far in, you'd think they'd be totally invested by that point. So, if you're a writer, remember to keep your audience's emotional needs in mind whenever you're writing a story. If they suddenly don't have something to be invested in, their attention might wane, no matter how good your story has been up to that point.